Hello. Welcome back to Closeted Cases. Today we're going over Kyle Rittenhouse's self-defense case. You know, everybody in the world pretty much heard about this, especially if you're living in the United States. It was really big news here. But just in case there's something you might learn about this, there's definitely a lot of stuff that I learned while researching this that I wasn't aware of. And sorry about this nasty shirt. I'm also a blacksmith and I am covered in chemicals. So outside of this, I make knives. So you should check that out, severedmetalworks.com. But as for this video, let's get into Kyle Rittenhouse's self-defense case and see what happened. And you can make your own opinion on it. And I'm going to present all the facts that I was able to find. And we'll come to a conclusion together. I'll give you my opinion, and outside of that, I also go into the details of the people who were victims of the shooting. That being said, I'm using the word victim because they did get shot. I'm not saying that they were wrongly shot. I'm just saying that they were victims of the shooting. All right, so to start this off, we need to go further back before the actual controversial events that happened to make this a global story. And the day that we're going to start this off is May 20th, 2020, a very well-known situation where the casualty of George Floyd caused by a police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota would occur, and this sparked outrage across America with protests all over. The initial goal of these peaceful protests were to bring light to the brutality issue from police departments to African American communities. Some protesters would muddy the national view of these protests by looting and rioting. And this would lead to the mayor of Minneapolis on May 30th, 2020, to openly condemn the protests, claiming that the peaceful demonstrations have morphed into domestic terrorism. Again, you know, the protests itself are kind of a controversial subject. I'm not going into that. The reason why we bring up the George Floyd situation is because this is kind of like the first stepping stone to the incident in Kenosha with Kyle Rittenhouse. So fast forward to August 2020, the protests persisted, but a new controversial police issue would become the highlight target of the protests, and that would be the shooting of Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake was shot several times by a police officer, leading to a controversial topic by people defending the officer and others saying that this was just another example of brutality. Again, not going into detail on this. You can look that up, Jacob Blake's issue. You can look that up on your own. It's not a self-defense issue, and that's why it's not going to be covered in this. But that was the main reason why there were protests going on in the Kenosha region. A couple days later, August 25th, 2020, calls on social media would tell locals in the